Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Fish Keeping Jamaica. Rally here. Today I'll be speaking on a profound topic in which a lot of persons tend to confuse at times with the whole idea of mistreatment of your fish stock. Today I'll be talking about feeding your fish. Now, time and time again you hear a lot of fish keepers, persons who are known within the hobby, sharing the fact that you should not overfeed your fish. Many persons are of the opinion that they are quite knowledgeable of this, thus they feed their fish high protein based food, and they feed their fish like probably once or twice a day, and they say that they feed their fish in small portions. Today I share with you some opinionative suggestion regards to feeding your fish and what happened during feeding your fish and what might happen if you decline to listen to the advice as far as not feeding your fish too much. Now we start first with the fact that your fish, just like any other living organism, requires food for energy, right? It requires food so as to build muscles and to survive. That's why fish in the wild will hunt for food, but in hunting it also loses weight, it exercise, muscles are toned right, I call it muscles are toned, right, and excess fat loss. The thing is, fish consume all that it needs as food within between 5 to 10 minutes of it feeding, right? Remember that the fish is not chasing down anything in the water in an aquarium to consume. So the only thing the fish will be doing now is just be going around and gorging itself, swimming. So there's no exercise. So your fish, yes, your fish can be overweight. Your fish can be overweight, thus resulting in health issues. And the longevity of your fish may be short, right? And that is why it is admonished by many proficient fish keepers that you do not feed your fish more than it can consume within the first 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the size of you feeding it. Whatever it doesn't eat within, let's say, 10 minutes of you feeding it, well, that's it. You take it out, that's it, right? The fish stomach is like this. So the question is asked, have you ever wondered how your fish digestive have you ever wondered how your fish digests its food? If you have, let's look at the following process by which the fish food actually go through before it becomes digested. Okay, the first element of digestive system, as usual within any living organism, begins in the mouth, right? Each different type of feeder will have a specific mouth suited to their diet and feeding behavior. Now, the esophagus in the bony fish is short and expandable so that large objects can be swallowed. The esophagus was layered with muscles and lead to the stomach. The stomach varies greatly in fish depending on the diet. In most predator type fish, it is simple, straight, or curve. A curve-like tube or pouch with a muscular or a glandular lining. Food is largely digested there and leave the stomach in liquid form. The junction between the stomach and the intestine is marked by a muscular valve called the pyloric cloaca. It has a digestive or absorptive function. That's absorptive function. The intestine itself is quite variable in length depending upon the fish diet. It is short for predators and sometimes no longer than the body cavity. In herbivores, that's herbivore fish, it is typically coiled and several times longer than the entire length of the fish. The larger its internal surface, the greater its absorptive efficiency. Now, most fish only have one size intestine instead of a large and a small intestine, like mammals, right? The primary excretory organ is the kidney. Excretion also takes place in the gills, where ammonia is given off and released directly into the water. Now, food is not completely digested and absorbed. Leave the body through an anal opening within the body, right? They call it cavity. In addition to other waste produced by digestion. By feeding a high quality food with easily accessible protein, your fish will be able to absorb the nutrients and will produce less waste. And this results not only in healthier but happier fish, but also cleaner and clearer water. With regards to my ponds, I practice to feed my fish once per day, and recently I have decided to feed them every other day because they are in the pond and they are now exposed to other living organisms in the pond, so they are actually chewing on something throughout the day. So me feeding them religiously every day, kinda, although I'm not giving them a lot, but in a sense they are being overfed. So I allow them to gorge on the algae, the daphne, and other small organisms that may exist within the pond.